All right, we are live. Waiting on Q to get back. Oh, how's your week been, Blood?
Getting progressively better.
Well, that's good.
Better and getting progressively worse.
Definitely. Man, this weather outside is... sounds like somebody's beating on my windows.
It does.
Can you hear it through the mic?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You have a monsoon up there?
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere, man. It was sunny just about an hour ago. As a matter of fact, I was outside grilling back about 3 hours ago for lunch. Made me some burgers. Sadly, my grill's getting wet because it wasn't cool enough to put the cover back on it. So, hopefully that don't mess it up. I mean, if it can't endure one storm, it's not worth the money. Oh. I guess I'm just going to start without this dude. He is taking his time. Oh, I hear him coming. We're live, by the way. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a good job.
Yeah.
That's rare.
I mean, it's one of those jobs you resign to take another job.
Only, yeah, that's the only time you do that.
All right, welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype.
We have Bloodaxe.
And outside we have a storm, so sorry about the background noise. But it is, it just came out of nowhere, and it's slapping on the window, and I don't know where I put my styrofoam I used to keep in the window to block that out. But
it's called atmosphere.
Yeah, atmosphere. We'll go with that. All right. Where do you guys want to start? Let's start
at the beginning.
There is no beginning.
When this group first started, it was two a-holes.
All right, let's start with rumors. Good rumors. This is something that Bloodaxe had sent in. The Gear 6 could be revealed in June as voice actor seemingly teases announcement. Have you got anything else on this, Blood?
Well, I mean, some fan was asking about any updates, and they were talking about the new upcoming game showcase that supposedly the coalition may be having an update then. So I don't know if it was intentional or what, but it sounds like we'll be finding out, hopefully, an announcement with Gear 6 and what's going to be the canon story. I know Q and I were talking back and forth about this and whether it's going forward in time, which is probably going to be the case, but I would love to go back to E-Day or even the Pendulum Wars if they really want to reset it. But I think he was wanting to go with Scorpio Squad, which I'll be perfectly fine with that as well. But we won't know anything until we get closer towards to June.
It ain't that far off.
Gear 6 has been rumored for about a year. So the people that I know that I've talked to either playing coy or have told me that they're not in it. So I don't have anything from anybody that I know other than just what I shared with you from the voice actor for JD.
And the only possible downside to that is that with it being the voice actor for JD, hinting at it, that unfortunately hints at the most likely storyline that would go forward if they continue with the previous team, since he is unfortunately one of the two choices related to the end of the last game. If you know what for those who beat the game. So
not necessarily, but just like with Carolyn Seymour, they brought her back to voice characters for multiplayer. They could have brought the voice actor to do some multiplayer lines, even though they may not necessarily be in the story. So I get what you're saying and why you're saying it, but that may not entirely be the whole case. But it is something to definitely keep in mind. You know, But I would love just completely cut bait with the current storyline and you start something brand new.
Honestly, I was more interested in Team Scorpio's arc. What they were doing was interesting. And I kind of like Cole's daughter. And I would not mind continuing on that story, finding out more about that group and because what they're doing kind of seems more important. Like, they're actually taking out the freaking highs, which would stop the continual. Because if you don't do something about that, then you basically face the problem of endless enemies. So they're actually doing the logical thing of, we need to get rid of the place where they're making the freaking enemies so there won't be more. If you don't do that, the problem doesn't get resolved. So that makes sense. And I was like, yeah, I like what Team Scorpio's up to. And they literally found this new formula that could do that. I'm kind of like, that story was vastly more interesting than whatever the heck was going on with friggin' Kate and Kate's weird mama drama crap. I just didn't care. I honestly, and every character I liked is either died or theoretically may die. So they killed me out of the story almost. I'm like, and if they go what I think they're going to go with, I won't have a character I give a flip about in the new game. You know,
I will say, man, you know, and this will be the Xbox showcase in June. So that's where they're predicting that it'll probably show up, since June was mentioned. Xbox, oh man, they've not been knocking it out the park lately. So,
and why do you think that it wasn't until Bloodaxe mentioned playing Grounded that I suddenly walked up and said, "Oh wow, my Xbox hasn't been plugged in for 2 months." Like, when I went to turn it on, I realized it wasn't plugged into the TV or power. I like, oh, it's been unplugged. It was literally unplugged.
Yeah.
And I hadn't turned it on. I was like, man, I've been playing PC for like 2 months straight.
It sucks because, you know, like a year or two ago, we were so excited about what Microsoft and Xbox was doing.
Yeah, nothing hit Game Pass that wasn't on PC Game Pass. And I just
and then they just sort of dropped the ball, man.
After we beat that Dead Island DLC, I just didn't have a reason to jump on for a while. And I mean, I've been keeping an eye on Game Pass, but nothing that hit was promising. The last thing that did look good, unfortunately, popped up, you know, SBI detected, and then I immediately jumped back and said, well, I'm not going to play that. So I was like, all right, well, you know, back to the drawing board. So,
yeah.
So, you know.
Oh, well, speaking of Microsoft failing at things, you know, Microsoft subsidiary Bethesda recently released Fallout 4's next-gen update, and it is, quote from Insider Gaming, a broken mess. So basically, there were several big updates in this, mostly for the consoles. It was a big FPS update. For PC, a lot of people were looking for the ultra-wide update, which ended up apparently breaking tons of mods, which honestly isn't that surprising when it comes to a Bethesda update.
Except that at this point, there was nobody that was still playing Fallout 4 that was not modding Fallout 4 because it's been out.
Well, no,
it's an old game.
No. You were wrong there. Fallout 4, this is the other problem with this. Breaking stuff and breaking the game is Fallout 4 had just had a resurgence of new gamers because of the Fallout TV show. The numbers were higher than they've been in years.
But it broke the mods and it messed up the game itself.
But yes.
So both were broken.
So the people who were playing the mods got screwed, and the new players
got screwed.
And I expected the mod players to get screwed, and I'm pretty sure most of the mod players expected to get screwed.
But here's the problem.
But
the base game was working, and the modded game was working.
Yeah, but your new user base, you screwed your new user base.
Well, they wanted to get the authentic Bethesda experience. Yeah. They're like, wait. A bunch of new people are playing Fallout 4. We need them to know what it's really like. Let's break it so they get that fresh Bethesda experience. that just came out Bethesda experience. I'm like, you could have let them skip that. They don't need to know what it was like when we first fired up Starfield. I'm kidding. Starfield actually kind of ran right. The Fallout 4 was a buggy mess.
I mean, one of the things I was looking forward to on the Fallout 4 update, and one of the reasons I was thinking about actually starting to go replay it, was the ultra-wide support. Because I got my new nice ultra-wide monitor, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll play that. And then, of course, there was the London update that got screwed, and they're not sure what they're going to do because they're like, they don't want to lose quality. But at the same time...
Because if it broke the base game, too, then it's like, well, even if we get the script thing fixed
to be able to mod it,
the base game's broken now, which could make people think they're mods at fault, and it's not. It's the base. So, basically, and what's terrible is to do this after Starfield. They literally put out Starfield, and it didn't succeed. We still don't have the mod shop or whatever for Starfield. So I just gave up and just said, Bethesda just took my money. And I didn't give up. I don't expect it'll ever happen. That's just $70 that I paid for having faith in Bethesda. And then they went back and they broke Fallout 4. And my next prediction is, I guess they're going to go break Skyrim. I don't know. I don't know what Bethesda's doing. I guess they're going to go back and break Skyrim
now. A lot of PS Plus players were also complaining because apparently the PS Plus players aren't eligible for the upgrade, but that may actually be a blessing in disguise. So
yeah, they have to buy the upgrade, which means they don't buy it, their Fallout 4 still works.
Yeah.
Because Q had asked me to try it a while back, and I did, and I didn't realize how old that game was. It was 8 years old. I didn't realize it when I started playing it, and it felt dated. And with this new update, I was like, you know what? I may give it a Scout's honest try with the new next-gen console update, and I'm glad I didn't download it again because it's broken. But it is something that I'm willing to give a try because I never played Fallout 4. And when I did try, it was sluggish. It felt like it was a 2-generation old game.
Yeah, and it was. It was never updated for the current gen Xbox, and that's what this was supposed to do.
Never officially updated.
Well, no, for the current gen Xbox, it was never updated for the current gen
Xbox.
I mean,
don't they allow mods with
not so much for the Xbox?
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
Don't they allow mods on Xbox now for certain mods?
There are certain mods available on Xbox, yes.
Yeah, they do have a mod shop. You actually can go and get some of the mods, yeah. I saw it where you can go load them.
But most of them aren't the ones that increase the graphics.
They're not the really good ones, yeah.
But anyway, so once they finally get it fixed, I probably will give it a run through because there's not a whole lot of multiplayer games out right now that, we're all kind of looking at playing together except for finishing Dead Island 2 solo. And if we ever get Xeno to play Remnant 2, I'll jump on with everybody and play Remnant 2. But other than that, there's not really a whole lot coming out multiplayer-wise. So this would be a good opportunity to go back and play a game that Q raves about, but I just never gave an honest try. So
I know I'm ready to play Remnant 2. By the way, I just need what I was waiting on from you guys was I was trying to see if you and Q could get the multiplayer to work, so we had cross play going.
I've already I got that to work 2 weeks ago, and when the Granted update came out, I expected it to be a couple of days and done, but he's actually been enjoying it, except for the shared worlds. Whenever he's playing without me, it kind of crashes the save game files.
Yeah, we ran into a huge issue with the way the shared works, and that's just been a huge bummer. So we're going to complete the Dead Island 2 DLC and then probably jump over to Remnant. So probably about Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll probably just play Grounded in the meantime until something more interesting comes out, because the one game I was waiting on that I finally got tired of waiting and bought was Jedi Survivor, and now that's on Game Pass.
That's why I don't buy the games I see the previous on, because I know that the sequels are going to come around too, because they have you're going to get the next one in the series.
Look, it's why I haven't bought Like a Dragon.
Yeah, it's because it's coming. It's definitely coming.
I'm like, I was annoyed with some of the things they did, and then I was just like, you know what? It'll come to Game Pass eventually. The other one did, so I'm not gonna.
I made a bet with you that it ain't going to make it before the year is. Like, it's going to come out before I think before 2025. Like a Dragon, Dream Vacation, Polka Island, whatever is going to be out. So I think so. But other than that, Warhammer Space Marine, which hopefully, since it was already in development, didn't get the weird game workshop treatment, will be good. I don't know. We may go in there and there's a female Space Marine running around. We'll see if they made a sudden last-minute patch.
Yeah, we got some Warhammer news coming up.
We'll get there later. But
well, I mean, if that's the case, we know we have at least a third person that will play the female Space Marine.
I mean, if it's a freaking one of the sisters, man, they're freaking awesome, I think they're shoving in like an Ultramarine just for the heck of it.
One of our friends that plays Warhammer will play with us because she normally plays females anyway.
Dude, man, the freaking sisters are awesome. Like I said, there are some badass female Space Marines. I don't understand what the conflict is, but I don't feel like getting into that. Because it doesn't make sense.
That's a different conversation for offline. But
well, we talked about it last. We talked about it last.
Sidetracked. Bad.
We talked about it last week when you were out. So I mean, we already covered it. It doesn't make sense. There's amazing factions in existence. Not even getting into Eldar, who have incredibly badass groups that I don't get it.
All right, people are trying to refund Stellar Blade over claims of censorship. Basically, there was a day one patch that came out for Stellar Blade that changed one of the outfits to make it less or more. I don't know.
They said some, so that implies plural.
It's outfits, but anyway. Yeah, so basically the outfits were changed to be a little less revealing. It says Eve now wears black stockings with one of her dresses. Other outfits still show a lot of skin, however, such as Eve's bikini costume. There's one. Let's see. The main change is that some, like the bunny outfit, include some black lacing around the chest area now.
We're not going to do essentially, because some people had the physical copy, and maybe they didn't have internet connection or what, but they basically, because actually it says there that some people had the physical copy, so they got the outfits, what they look like, and there was this auto downloading day one patch that added modifications to outfits that apparently make them a little bit tamer. At least according to those people, and that, they're claiming censorship. Now, the director claims that, no, we always intended that. And that sparked, before the show, a big debate between me and Zeno, where I said, look, I'm not in outfits. I don't care. I don't dress up my characters in that way. And if I do, it's usually with skulls and all that. I don't even play female characters most of the time. I never really got into some of the other people in the argument of, well, I like to play female character because I get to look at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that just makes you sound like a really weird guy. I don't do the female character thing. That's not my bag. You know what I'm saying? So I don't play dress-up doll. But it is interesting that I also never seen anybody make a day one patch to change outfits.
Well, that's the thing. Patch. I mean, a lot of the people, they're claiming false advertisement because of apparently some of these outfits were also shown in other forms on advertising. But, to me, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If it was really and this is what the big debate's been on, is whether or not it really is that the game designers intended those things to be there from the start and just didn't have them fully implemented yet, or whether or not this was some strong arm from Sony, because we have known Sony to censor things without telling people, and or censor things in the U.S. and not, Japan, stuff like that. Now, supposedly this was a global change and intended, but a lot of people aren't sure. And this is sort of the cry wolf mentality. I mean, Sony has said before, we're not going to censor stuff, and they have. So, I mean, we saw it in, I think, one of the Resident Evils, there was Dante when he had what was that? What's the game that Dante's in?
Devil May Cry.
Yeah, Devil May Cry, where they did the censorship in there. So it is where Sony isn't really that believable at times.
Yeah, I was on X and I was scrolling through and I saw the before censorship and after censorship pictures that were floating around, and it's pretty egregious how much they just completely covered everything up. And most of the guys I know that play as a female antagonist do so because of the eye candy, and you would think they would have learned by now after the whole Outlaws fallout with making the protagonist, square jaw, more masculine and feminine than anything else, that, people aren't going to want to buy your game. And I've already taken that off of my wish list now, because I'll play Outlaws if it's free on Game Pass, but I'm not paying cash for it, just out of pure principle alone. And I may not even play it even if it's free, just because I'm like you. Don't be censoring my games, and don't make it for not me, because if you make it for not me, then I'm no longer your target audience. So I'm not going to play your game anyway. So,
I just don't like anybody deciding. It's like, let me see what the devs make, because here's why. Because then I'll make a decision on what I think about their games based on what they made. It's not even fair to the devs, because, when you alter the game, because I'm going to look at the game and go, I don't like these guys' games. And then it turns out that that's not the game they made, because, a game console company started screwing with, the game after it came out. But,
well, and, I got to go back to our argument before the show. You were talking about the, because I was like, it wasn't really that big of a deal. But now that I'm looking at them showing off the outfits, as much as they are, it's like, okay, maybe the outfits were a bigger thing than I was thinking.
Well, that's what I was saying. They sold this game on its outfits, and then they change it day one. That is kind of them saying, hey, and then going, nope, we lied. That's not what we're actually sending you. Yeah, I mean, there are people who might have bought this game because of the outfits. That's their thing. But it doesn't change the fact that you showed me A, you sold me B.
Well, the more I'm looking at it, it seems like a lot of people cared about the outfits on this. I was like, I don't care about outfits. Like, I'm the dude who doesn't spend money on outfits because I really could be in the starter look gear. I'm in rags. As long as my stats aren't affected, I don't care.
I've ran around the game looking like a clown character for best stats, man. But that doesn't change the fact that. But I do also understand if you sold me A and you delivered B is a valid argument. Don't show me this and give me something different. Worse, it does look suspicious that it's a day one patch, which means it's like you stealthed it in. You literally made the game this way, and at the last minute, why is it a patch? Why you didn't just change it before you made the game? That looks really strange, almost suspicious, that you would patch outfits at the last minute after you get the game and I plug it in. Suddenly a patch comes in and changes the outfit. Does that? I don't know. That just really strikes me as an odd thing. It's like I order a meal and I sit down and get ready to eat, and then a waiter runs up suddenly, grabs it, does something to it, and runs off. And like, hey, what the hell was that? What was that? I'm going to be like, wait, no, what did you just do to my sandwich? It's just an odd thing, the way it was implemented. If they had done that change right before the game came out, I would be like, oh, yeah, we make this change last minute. The patch is strange. The patch just hits me as odd. It's weird to do it as a patch. It would be. I would be on their side if it wasn't a patch. I'd be like, oh, they clearly made a decision to change the outfits. They might should have told people, but it's the way the game shipped, right? It's the way the game shipped. The patch is odd because it feels like you changed the game retroactively after you got my money. Because you did. You changed the game after you got my money. And you know how we feel about that, Bloodaxe. I don't like you getting my money and then deciding to make the change. That does not sit well with me.
With it being that day one, so it's like right after getting your money.
Yeah, it's like you got my money in your hand and you said, hey, boop, hi. I'm like, whoa.
That's just one of the many reasons why I hate
patches.
day one patches. Day one patches have become such a consistent thing. And it's just like, but it does feel a little weird because it's like, what are you doing? You just got my money and now you're changing stuff. You know, that conspiracy theorist, in you comes out a little bit whenever.
Because there's one thing every day one patch is a fix. This was not a fix. This was a change.
Well,
let's emphasize this. This was a change.
Hey,
there might have been fixes in it, but it was a change though. Why is there a cosmetic change mixed into this patch? That's all I'm saying. It's one thing for your patch to be a fix. This was a cosmetic change. That's sus. So yeah, there might be fixes in it, but the cosmetic side of that just hits me as odd. So there you go. Now, I don't care. But I can see why people are going like, why is your day one patch changing outfits? I just never seen that. I've never seen a day one patch screwing with people's outfits.
I mean, the day one patch added apparently new game plus mode, removed unintentional hard R sign.
Oh, God, don't bring up that stupid. Oh, that was so dumb. It's too stupid. We will not go into it. It is the dumbest made-up bull crap in the world. It's so dumb that half the people don't even know what the hell they're talking about. It's so stupid. It is imaginary racism of the dumbest form.
The hard R?
It's not a hard R. It's made up. It is people looking at something and imagining something that's not there, and everybody that complained about it was not even black. It is stupid as hell. It is... I'm about to use a different hard R. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't. It's too stupid. It's too stupid to talk about. I feel like we'll be dumber if we talk about it.
All right.
It is that stupid. It is that freaking stupid. Sometimes it's hard to respect some of the stuff people will come up with to try to create controversy. I will give you a short. There is a lot of graffiti in the game.
The placement of two graphics near each other in Stellar Blade resulted in an unintentional, objectionable phrase. Shift Up had no intentions of creating offensive artwork and will be replacing the graffiti for the day one patch. So basically, somebody saw two images close together and decided to make it a issue.
A thing.
Yeah.
A reference that isn't even offensive. Like in the video where I saw it, all the bad people were going, most of you don't even know what the hell that's about. And no one did. Literally 90% of people are going like, what does hard R mean? Because most people don't know. The people who do know, the black people, were laughing and going, we know that Japanese people don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
The people complaining are like the most extreme idiots because most people don't know. It was hilarious when I looked at it and said, hard R shop. I wonder what they sell here. That seems funny. Hey, man, I actually thought it was hilarious when I saw it. But, I mean, it's not the word. It's not a reference to the word.
There's the R shop, and then there's a graffiti for hard.
Which, by the way, is present because the hard is a reference to something else and is all over the game. So you've seen it dozens of times. So it's not like this is unique.
But apparently they replaced the hard graphic with crime.
That makes it even better. Okay.
So...
Now it's the crime shop. I don't know. But yeah.
Anyway, that wasn't even anything to do with that. I was just looking to see what
the
patch what updates.
But like I said, it's imaginary controversy. At least the selling stuff and then changing it, there's a conspiracy theory there. which is why would your day one patch sneak in, changes to outfits that you advertise? As y'all saw, they advertised these outfits. You saw there's literally spinning, full 360 spinning displays of the outfits, and then you change them. That is a bit much. It'd be different if they didn't push the outfits so hard. It does feel like you advertised A and you sold B. Now, who cares?
Yeah. So yeah, that's the image that people. That is so dumb. It's a graffiti, and
it's a graffiti that's all over the game.
Yeah.
The most important thing is that the graffiti is all over the hard graffiti is all over the game. So it's not even like that's the first time you see it. So it was somebody looked so hard to find something to get offended by, and they actually, how it goes into the whole Wizard of the Coast controversy of you decided to make this valid.
Apparently there is
Hard Rock, yeah, but the idea of giving validity to something is a bad idea. That's an example of where you took someone's delusional rantings and you decided to give it actual validity.
Well, I will say that the hard R reference has had a history with the, as people have brought up with the Hard Rock, when the OCK went off and the Hard Rock, people were like hard R. You see references to hard R on the internet, so it's not something that's completely new.
Yeah, nobody cared anyway. That was funny.
Comedians have made fun of the hard R, and
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. What's up next? Let's talk about Nintendo. Nintendo apparently forces Gary's Mod to delete 20 years of content. Basically, Gary's Mod, if you're not familiar, has been a massive, memed, long-running game for 20 years on Steam that is heavily fan-modded and workshopped. And apparently, after 20 years, Nintendo finally heard about Gary's Mod, and it
has everything in it.
Yeah.
Like the FNAF, Pennywise, you can basically find a mod to put any character in it, including popular Nintendo characters. And, of course, Nintendo, which, by the way, are not very popular right now after some Pokemon-related stuff that we don't care enough to cover. But generally, they did really stupid stuff with the character creator, has decided, we're on a roll right now. Let's be even big. Worst of all, you know who's Gary's Mod is the most popular with? The same age group that likes Pokemon.
Yeah.
My son enjoys Gary's Mod.
Well, yeah.
It's literally aimed at a younger demographic. So Nintendo is wanting to alienate a new group of gamers by making kids think they suck.
Not only that, it took them 20 years, man. 20 years. And this shit's so old.
Are you implying that Nintendo may be out of touch?
Yeah.
I just said what they did in Pokemon. Pokemon, a kid that while it has older fans, a game that's aimed at young kids is making weird gender-neutral avatars for your characters now because...
The creators of Gary's Mod was so unsure of this, they actually had to reach out to Nintendo to verify that this was real because they're like...
Are you serious?
Yeah, because, people have done DCMA claims before that aren't the real company, so they were like... Before we try to go through all this effort, let us go, because really...
Is this really you?
Is this... And apparently, Nintendo, yes, it is us.
You do understand this is going to look really bad.
Well, the other problem is it's an issue of how this content... This is mostly user-created content, which means they can delete this stuff, people can re-upload it. And then they have to keep deleting.
Yeah. The thing is that the people that make Gary's Mod don't make it, so it's like they're not. They can't. Funny thing is, I don't even know if Gary's Mod can really get in trouble because they don't make it.
Well,
but they're like, all right, we'll take it down.
Steam would probably be the ones in trouble, which I think Gary's Mod is actually created partially by
But I think it's funny that they literally like tried to have they actually thought Nintendo had the decency to have not done it.
Gary's mod Steam page notes the process of complying with the takedown will take much time, adding, if you want to help us by deleting your Nintendo related uploads and never uploading them again, that would help us out a lot.
The problem is they can just keep re-uploading them.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is I don't even know if they can really sue them if people keep re-uploading. So they can be like, look, man, we're taking them down. They're just going to keep re-uploading if they feel like it. And that's true.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks, though. That's a lot of content.
It's amazing how Nintendo is willing to waste their and everyone else's time. So play Power World. Just play Power World. Just stop playing Nintendo. Play Power World. I hope somebody,
I really don't want to put Nintendo on my shit list, but they really are trying to get there.
Our first coverage of a Nintendo game got immediately claimed for nothing. We still don't understand what it was.
No, we know what it was. It was because there are for a small segment like animations, like when you're going through a door.
Yeah, I think it was like a door animation.
Are preset, because when you click on the door, it automatically moves you. So that's considered not your content, but a recording that is Nintendo's content, and that's what the type of stuff they were hitting us for. Is in between playing the game, they go into some preset motions, which
the animation to walk through a door.
Yeah.
So I didn't know they weren't on your list.
We don't. We definitely.
We've never done another Nintendo related. Yeah, we've never cut anything Nintendo related since then.
But I still own a Switch.
When's the last time it's been on?
The battery's dead. The battery's dead because it sat on the dock for so long, not being used. I think it killed the battery.
It's okay. So. You don't want to make your avatar would look really weird anyway now.
All right, big Blizzard fans wanting to go to BlizzCon? Well, you can't because an update on this year's BlizzCon from Blizzard says we're not doing any live events this year.
Shocked that you didn't care more.
I've never gone to BlizzCon.
True, but I just think that this is a bad sign for WoW.
Back when I used to play WoW and I played Diablo, you'd get some cool little gift packs and stuff for being subscribed during BlizzCon and stuff like that. But it was just little cosmetic stuff, and that's the main reason I knew about BlizzCon. And that stuff you'll probably still get because it is the digital BlizzCon will still happen. Basically, they said because they canceled several games recently that they were planning on debuting at BlizzCon, that they didn't have enough material to
what I say.
And
that's the part that got me was that it's indicative of the poor health of Blizzard.
One of the big things they mentioned is they had an upcoming survival game that they apparently canceled.
Because like BlizzCon, I know was like heavily overpriced and thus very profitable. It was expensive to go to BlizzCon, and it used to be a pretty big money maker. And for them to cancel it, I saw that as a poor health check. That's more what I thought. Is there was a really poor health check for Blizzard that they're like, man, we can't even do BlizzCon.
Well, I think it's a combination, man. We've got a poor health check from Blizzard. We also they just went through an acquisition. The acquisition with Microsoft, finished up at the end of last year.
They got a lot of money on the acquisition.
They didn't. They're part of Microsoft now. That's the money went to the people who sold it.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of transitioning going on. There's been people being replaced left and right. We've seen several positions swap out. So I'm not that surprised that it got canceled. I'm a little more surprised at their excuse of it being because of the game's canceled, rather than just using the excuse of we've got a lot of changes going on with our current acquisition and management change. That it just doesn't make sense.
We know that's not true. That's the reason because they came out at a BlizzCon and said, "Yo, You know that Diablo been waiting for? Nope, mobile. So we know they don't care. They don't care about not having games.
Do you not have a phone, bro?
It's a well-known fact that Blizzard doesn't care if they have a game for you or what you want, because they came out and said, we know what you want. No. And then mocked you. So these guys don't care that no. They don't. We know that's bullcrap. They'll come out and announce Diablo Pachinko. They don't care. So no, we know that ain't the reason. It's something else. It's a poor health check. But we thought we'd let you know, no BlizzCon. You weren't planning to go anyway. Yeah. That's why there's no BlizzCon. Probably because they went, nobody's coming. Because Diablo 4 didn't really knock it out the park, and I didn't even know they had a survival game coming up. And I don't care even after, because my first thought is, really, a survival game? Then I thought about what I got from Blizzard and said, no.
Well, I mean, once again, it's been one of those things where, really, a survival game, there's been so many indie survival games lately. I mean, that's been the big indie thing recently, is all the survival games. It's we know AAA games aren't doing it right now, man. I mean, if you come up with a survival game, it's just going to be crap, and the indie games will be better.
No, give it up, because that's what I was thinking. Because my first thought is, oh, God, what would a AAA survival game look like? Immediately, it didn't show my face, but the reason I lost interest because I said, I don't want to see Epic or EA or Blizzard or a big company try to do a survival game, because that's going to be a hot, monetized, time-wasting mess.
Well, I mean,
by the numbers, nothing unique.
I mean, the closest thing we have to, I guess, a AAA survival game is what you and Bloodaxe have been playing with the bugs and the little people. Grounded. That's a survival game.
I wouldn't call Obsidian AAA.
Obsidian is AAA.
Maybe double at best. They're a good company, but they're not huge, dude. Obsidian's not that big.
Yeah.
They're about a mid-sized group. But, this is but plus they also don't practice quite as bad as stuff as Blizzard. Blizzard's a monetizer.
But they also took that survival game and approached it from an indie standpoint of doing the early access and all that stuff.
Yeah. And that is not what Blizzard would do.
Oh, no.
Pay-to-win survival game, definitely. It would definitely be a pay-to-win survival game. There would be loot boxes. There would be loot boxes in the survival game.
The first quadruple A survival game.
You'd be earning special currencies, Bloodaxe, to buy unique special survival tools. I'm getting the golden diamond axe that you need this special Blizz coins to get. Oh. Now, you can take a year to earn those Blizz coins, or you can give us $50 and get it now.
Well, talking about taking the money and running. Let's.
Well, she ran, and then she came back and got the money.
Yeah. Game Workshop CFO sells, and from what we've looked at, this is a little incorrect. It seems to be a former CFO, because we did find where she had departed back in January. But, which makes this a little less of a news topic, I will say, because back when I thought she was the actual CFO, her selling 2/3 of her stock was a lot more of a big thing.
Oh, no, that's still a lot of stock to sell, though, man. Yeah. Bailing out nearly $1 million of interest in a company. But,
I mean, that shows you the faith the investors have in, people who even worked, higher up in
but let's get the full story. Rachel Tung, the former chief CFO, earlier this year of go up. Let me make sure I get the name right, because I want to call him White Dwarf, but it's not. It's a Game Workshop, which holds the Warhammer 40K brand. Basically, I know. I was thinking of the comic book. I got all confused.
Oh, you think about White Wolf, which is
I said White Dwarf. Okay. Like I said, Game Workshop. Yeah. Look, it's been a long weekend.
White Wolf's Vampire Masquerade, or
White Wolf is. Yeah. White Wolf was Vampire the Masquerade, not anymore. And White Dwarf was the comic book that had the 40K.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I ate that out of it. White Dwarf. But anyway, Game Workshop CFO resigned, which is not a common thing for CFOs that often. Usually, that's a high position you want to stay in. And apparently, she had a massive amount of stock in the company as well. And very recently, kind of around the time that, they started making some very interesting choices, watch our previous episode, announcements about Adeptus and some changes.
I will say it's not uncommon for C-suite people to get stock in their contracts.
Yeah.
So most likely she got this stock
she
became
probably got the
CFO.
stock as part of it, yeah. But usually you'll leave your stock, let it accumulate. But after some of the retconning, she sold 2/3, and merely 2/3 of her stock was worth $850,000, which means she had over $1 million in stock easy. That's a big bailout to sell almost $1 million worth of stock. Yeah. That is you going, these suckers are about to go down in flames.
No. I'll be honest, I'm not a big Warhammer person. So when we talked about Warhammer last time, I know a lot of people in the chat room and you guys were a lot more involved in it than I was. But the level of people out there talking about boycotting, obviously the selling of stock, tells you just how much people care about this lore and how much messing up this lore is affecting their game. I mean,
and it's just interesting because chief financial officer, that means somebody that knows the money. She resigned, and then she turned around later and said, "And I'm taking my money, my stock. I'm getting rid of the stock."
I mean,
that's a lot of
apparently
time.
she was at least halfway decent at her job, because when she resigned back in January, apparently there were drops in the stock. So
this is somebody who I think left because she said they're about to do some stupid stuff. I believe she was a chief financial officer. And here's the thing. A lot of these moves toward these type of decisions are not immediate. They are a momentum. And I bet you that she saw them hiring, like she probably saw Sweet Baby Ink walk through the door.
No.
And was like, oh, and said, I'm resigning. And then they said, you know what? Let's change some lore. And then she called her stock guy and said, 2/3. Keep 1/3, just, a little something, but 2/3. Oh, yeah. Yes, 2/3. When? Now. How much? Right now. And because she saw it. Because who has inside it, has a good feel. Who has a good feel for the financial flow of the company? Chief financial officer. So all I'm saying is that she was probably
sitting there with a finger on the button saying, I got to wait for this to go public before I can push this button.
If I do this too soon, I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah. Oh, good, they said it.
Because you can't trade with non-public information.
Because I probably do the same thing. I'm walking through the office and I'll be like, hey, who's that? Oh, that's the new creative writing sensitivity reader. The what? What the heck is that? Hold on, let me look. And she went online and she said, oh, wow, every company that hires one of these, oh my God, look at their stock value. I would like to resign.
Oh, speaking of which, we got some new information about a company that had that exact thing happen. Let's see, where was that?
Me.
So, Sweet Baby Inc. reveals dev team behind Shadow Gamut, the Cursed Crew shut down. Costs were exceeding revenues.
Yeah, they shut down last year, but Sweet Baby Inc. revealed that it was partly because their costs were exceeding revenues.
And the reason Sweet Baby Inc. knew this is because they were consulting, which means they were part of that cost.
Apparently, the cost went up around the time they started consulting with Sweet Baby Inc., which I find particularly hilarious. And they were like, "Oh, it's terrible. They went out of business," and I'm like. So, and the reason we bring this up is it rolls to another story, but it's amazing that Sweet Baby Inc. tends to show up around the time a company or game fails.
And that's because of this new website that has recently come out has actually caused a lot of people to want to hide the fact that they had consultants, because it seems as soon as people find out, games are not doing so well. As a matter of fact, one game that I had seen that I was like, oh, interesting. African history, unique story point. Haven't heard this
made
before.
by a Kenyan, so it should be very accurate.
which had a lot of people behind it. I actually mentioned this to one of my coworkers who actually thought it was interesting as well. We had talked about it, and then of course now the game is not getting a lot of people.
I believe less than 300 concurrent
because people
players.
are afraid to touch it after they found out that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved.
And it was funny because looking at the messages and the arguments, people saying they're going to buy 5 and 10 copies because of this site. You just maybe want to buy it less than 300 concurrent players last time I looked. So it's dying. And what's sad is that it's not, that so many people aren't buying it because they're going, well, how can you trust the authenticity of a game that, it's already made by a Kenyan? Why would you need a Canadian company as a consultant? That's very odd. You don't need a Canadian consultant to make a game about African culture, and you're a Kenyan. And also, we know Sweet Baby Inc. does not care about the authenticity of anything. They have their own agenda. They have made that very clear by you can literally go watch videos of them saying what their agenda is. They have their own goals in anything they do. Yeah. And also, why would you need Sweet Baby Inc. on a game that's set in Africa? It's going to have representation. It's set in Africa. How could it possibly need more consulting? It should have only black people in it to begin with. I'm like, how much more representation? I would be annoyed if it wasn't all black people. It's like a Black Panther movie. One of the things I watched a Black Panther movie, I'm like, yeah, it's going to have all black people. I remember people going, the Black Panther movie is going to have an all-black cast. And I'm like, obviously, it's Wakanda.
287 all-time peak.
So it never even broke 300? And only 130. I'm sorry, I'll take that back. They never broke 300.
At launch, it got up to 287, and then
So the game is dying on the vine. People are blaming the site. They're probably right, but Sweet Baby Inc. is the death knell. And most DEIs are the death knell because it questions the authenticity of a game's intent. And it's because we know these companies do not care. They have said it themselves. Their goal is to inject their own personal self-interest, not representation, their own personal self-interest into a game. They have said so. They literally messed up and said, I want to see me. Not people, me. They want to inject their own self-interest. And that corrupts the story that someone's telling, because when a person made that game, they wasn't thinking about Jillian at Sweet Baby Inc. They were trying to tell a story. And now Jillian wants to be the main character. It's why, we showed, what did I show last episode when I showed so many similar-looking characters? I could sit up here and I want to. And if I wanted to be an a-hole, I could. Because the other day, I watched a video of upcoming games. And I didn't bother you with it, but I watched a video of upcoming games. I saw 60% of those games had black female main protagonists. Now, that's not a problem, but here's what was sad. They barely looked different. And no, it's not being racist. I know my black women, and they don't all look alike to me. It was the same model. They even sounded similar. There's no diversity. It's the same character. It's a similar character concept every time. They're not even diversifying the black female main character. Same skin tone, same attitude, dang near the same outfit, and slightly altered hairstyles. There is no diversity. It's not even being mixed up. And I'm like, could you flesh this out a bit? Yeah. Spread it out. So that is why they're not I'm trying to say this is why they're not trusted. It's because they're not actually adding anything to a game. I literally looked at Forspoken. All right, that character, you know what I'm saying? That's her. You slide down a little bit, and there was another one. And yes, there was another character I saw that looked like the main one that's going to be in South of Delta. And you're just diversify up the characters a bit. They're not telling different stories. They're injecting the same dang character in every game. And that's why they're not trusted. And that's why they're bad for business.
Yeah.
Now,
I will say, man, I actually was looking forward to this game here. And one of the things that I will say, I got to give DEI.
Look at the middle. Now, don't she look very similar to characters you've seen in all other games?
I'm not even worried about that. The big thing, the thing that interested me on this was this comes back to the localizers. So this is where they basically are praising themselves for changing the translation, the localization to a westernized audience. So they're bastardizing another culture's game.
But isn't that called cultural appropriation?
I don't know if it's called cultural appropriation to bastardize somebody's game.
They're changing the dialogue to a different culture.
It's called not respecting the original author's content.
They used to call. If somebody says one thing and you go in and re-record over their voice and change what they said, that's, like I said, that's clearly not a good thing because you're misrepresenting what they said. And if they said something offensive, then let them say it so we can know and we can decide if we want to work with them. You're not really fixing anything because you're also concealing it. Maybe we need to know what they're saying. I might need to know if these guys are saying messed up stuff so I know not to buy their game. Because here's the thing. What you're doing could cause people to give money to somebody they wouldn't support. I don't even understand what the goal is there. Should I give money to somebody that says really messed up stuff about women? I don't get the goal there. Like, why would you cover up offensive speech? Or is it that it wasn't that offensive and you know that and you're just being...
is the use of chud here, which is not something you would see in a Japanese sigh, another muscle brain chud.
Yeah, that's just an insult. Apparently that's an insult toward right. So wait a minute. So they're actually sliding offensive slang toward a particular political group. That's not correcting then. That's actually inserting offensive language.
So yeah. So that took me off that game.
I thought they were. These people are sick, man. These are a bunch of sick wackos. You're fixing is. I thought, okay, I now feel like a fool. I was coming from the point of they were making it better by cleaning up and taking out the offensive content. Now I feel like a fool. I gave them the benefit of the doubt that you were actually doing the right thing. That pisses me off. I actually tried to believe that maybe the westernization, which you were going, were trying to clean up and make it less offensive. No, you're just making it offensive to a different group.
Yes, because Japanese have a different respect towards women than a lot of westernized culture. A lot of a different aspect to homosexuality than westernized culture.
Who you're attacking isn't a fix.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the whole problem. Here's my thing: if you left that content in there, at least I know where it's coming from. But when you're throwing in different content and different context, it's completely different.
In the chat, Flynn's talking about he bought Forspoken and hated the main character. Dude, I sat through hours of gameplay of that, and oh my god, I never met a main character who I was going like, if she died at the end of this game, I would be so happy. Like, this is one of those times where a heroic sacrifice was the best ending if it could have happened. Like, please sacrifice yourself to save the world. It'll be a better place. But unfortunately, that wasn't an option.
Yeah. Now, I have hope. I will say this. I have some hope in the game industry. And that is because a lot of the game industry followed the tech industry. As the tech industry got more political and the tech industry started pushing a lot more agendas, that's when we started seeing this in Hollywood, and we started seeing this in video games and all that. And so hopefully, as some of the tech industry is trying to get away from cramming politics and stuff inside their company, maybe we'll see a change. So supposedly Sundar Pichai tells Google staff he doesn't want any more political debates in the office after firing 28 employees over the Israeli contract protest.
After some previous firings, I believe, for the sit-in in the CEO's office, which I can't believe they didn't think they were going to get fired for that. No CEO is going to walk in his office and go, "What are you doing? We're protesting. Get out of my office."
Yeah.
No.
So maybe as some people start seeing consequences for doing things that maybe aren't best for the companies they work for, we'll actually see people go back to trying to make quality content and make money for the company.
Look, I tried to help them, though. How many times did I say you're not getting your message across when you present it in a way that makes you the bad guy? The worst thing you could do is you can turn a bad message into a hated message when you choose to do it. No matter what you write on a baseball bat, no one's going to like the message if you hit them in the face.
I mean, we grew up with the saying called 2 wrongs don't make a right. You know, it's one of the oldest sayings I probably know. You know, and I mean, and that's like something that people somehow forgot. How do you forget 2 wrongs don't make a right? Oh no, let's hate on this group of people because we felt like we were hated on for so long. Let's flip the top. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah, and not to get too off track because we really do hate politics. Like he's saying, the tech industry is moving away from this. We hope the game industry will follow suit because, you know, and amazingly enough, the person that's going to bring about the change is the group that's doing it because they're going so far that. Like I said, even the bosses are going like, well, I mean, okay, we've got to stop this.
We've also recently seen several. I've seen more and more people in Hollywood starting to talk out about getting away from the politics. You know, trying to actually make things entertaining. So
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I mean, hopefully we'll see this curve back. I mean, I don't know what else to do but other than hope, man. I mean,
play where the winds meet.
Yeah.
There's another gameplay trailer. Looks really good. Game looks awesome. There's a 7-hour one out there, but I don't want spoilers, so I didn't watch it. He actually plays through the game. I was like, no, I don't want spoilers, so I skipped it.
But yeah, so fingers crossed, hope. Bloodaxe.
It's time, Bloodaxe. You ready?
Waiting on you.
You know what we're about to cover.
Our big man on all things Disney and Star Wars. I hear George Lucas is making a comeback.
Shit.
You should be happy. He's returning after making that Bob Iger deal with the devil.
Oh.
After a tag team against Pelts, man, he's back again.
So how you feel about this, Blood?
I don't care.
Damn.
I really don't care. Especially after the whole the Nelson Peltz drama and the stock votes and stuff. I am so far checked out on Star Wars right now that I don't even think that George Lucas can salvage what's left of it. They will have to sell it, and then someone else will have to rebrand it, in my opinion.
So you don't think George Lucas is coming back to save Star Wars?
No, because he's still not going to be in charge of the story. The Lucasfilm Story Group and Kathleen Kennedy still have final say-so over the story. Now, unless they said, hey, we're going to let you do your original 3 treatments and we're shelving the sequel trilogy, then I might have some glimmer of excitement, but no, I have no interest whatsoever. Dude, I think the last Disney Plus series I watched was Mandalorian, no, Book of Boba Fett. I watched Mandalorian Season 2, Book of Boba Fett, and I haven't watched anything since.
I'm so sorry you ended on the Book of Boba Fett. I apologize. That's not a place to stop.
Well, is there anything better to watch going forward?
I know, but that's still just a terrible place to stop. I at least stopped on Mandalorian Season 2, which is not a bad stopping point. But oh my goodness. I stopped, the last thing I saw was an awesome, Luke Skywalker scene. I had a great checkout. Like, man, Luke Skywalker looks awesome. Then I bowed out. So I had a great finale, and to me, that's the end of Star Wars. And I have been dodging series after that. People, we've covered it, but I didn't watch. We just oh man, Boba Fett looks terrible. You gonna watch it? No. Did you see that? And then I was like, oh, Ahsoka. Oh, that looks terrible. You gonna watch it? No. I'm just gonna let y'all know what we're finding out. I don't want to taint that awesome final scene.
And I was excited for Ahsoka too, but I'm glad I didn't watch that trash fire either. But no, I have no expectations that anything that they're going to do with George Lucas is going to be worthwhile. And even if it is, it's only going to be a band-aid for more garbage coming forward.
I feel bad because he sounds so broken.
I know. Like I was expecting to get him riled up, and he's just like, no, I'm done. Fucking done.
Flynn said Ahsoka wasn't bad. Hey, you know what, Flynn? That's interesting. You're usually right. That's the first time in a while. It wasn't terrible, but
yeah,
it wasn't great. It was meh at best. Because, I mean, the character that I like, what they did to Ezra, if you watched the Clone Wars and were an Ezra fan, you did not get a good Ezra treatment at all. They did not do Ezra a bit of justice, and you know they didn't, man. You my boy. They didn't. You clearly didn't. You did not like Ezra that much. But I mean, it wasn't the worst. I like Rosario Dawson, but she felt like she was sleepwalking through that series. All the fights were slow. You know, it felt like it was. She seemed really just half into it. Like I don't know why she seemed so mad. Because I've seen her be more interesting.
I know. I enjoyed her in Luke Cage and Daredevil awesome. And all those. You know, she did a really good job.
I was a big fan of her in that. And then she just kind of, but in this, she just kind of was like. And I was like, are you okay? Like, you know, man. And then it's like, why has she got the Force now? Or else she doesn't have the Force. She does have the Force. Is this series? This series is about her, isn't it? Why is it about her? I don't like her. I don't even care who she was. I didn't like her in the cartoon. So I guess for me, it's because I didn't like her character in the cartoon. I was like, who is she? Okay. Oh, she spray paints. Who cares? She spray paints. Oh, Ezra's in this series? Shock. Big reveal Ezra series. That's going to be cool. Oh, why did I not expect that? Okay. That was disappointing. So I guess it just was a bad sequel to it. Oh my God, Obi-Wan was bad. Yeah, Obi-Wan's pretty bad.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up, guys. You got any last things to say before we close shop?
Remnant 2 is still a great game. I'm enjoying Remnant 2. Grounded's really fun if you're playing with someone else and you don't dare think you get to do anything on your own. That's the key. Know your place. And you can have fun. The Dead Island 2 DLC. Second DLC, Sola. No, we mean good stuff. The second DLC for Dead Island 2 is actually really good. At least compared to the first one, isn't it? Now that second DLC is miles better than the first one. If you played the first DLC, do know that the second one is very reminiscent of Dead Island 1. They've got bungalows, man. The swimming pools, big, new enemies. It is a lot better. Heck, it's almost better than most of the content in the first game, isn't it? Like, honestly, to me, it's been the best, most fun we've had in Dead Island. I'm not saying it makes Dead Island 2 great, but I am saying it feels like I'm actually playing a sequel to Dead Island 1 finally. And it's pretty big.
Other than the pier, the beach area, it's probably bigger than any of the other maps.
Yeah, and it has been fun. I will say that the Dead Island 2 second DLC, Sola, has been really good. Remnant 2 and its DLC has been amazing. I'm looking forward to starting. I think tomorrow we're going to jump into that. So those are games that are fun. Grounded's 1.4 update is fun, challenging. A little rough to play with friends, but generally pretty fun. So those are games
Gotta get
to
the
play.
save thing fixed.
Yeah, where you can actually do a little bit of individual work, you know. But as long as you're jumping in when the host is playing, just pick a host, let him host. Don't swap hosts. That's the main thing. Swapping hosts causes a lot of issues. Other than that, it's fine. That's the good news I got for you. Other than that,
yeah. So there you go.
Sell your Warhammer stock apparently, and there you go.
Damn it, we were not ending on a downer, and then you had to
what?
throw
That's
that
advice.
Oh, that's okay. We'll give that.
What?
Advice.
Sell your Warhammer? Yeah, didn't know if you've got Warhammer stock, sell and possibly your army.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to Dicejunkies.com where you find links everywhere we're online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.